Good morning, everybody. It is the final full day of Tape Week 2026 here in Louisville. My name is Adam Robertson. I am PSTC's marketing director. I'm sitting with Bill James from Magnum Tapes and Films and Ryan McCoy from Vybond. They are our co-chairs of our brand new Ascend program. Thank you for the time, you two.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
Let's talk about Ascend. It's the first time that we have introduced this program. I remember talking last year about wanting to do something like this. Bill, tell me what was the inspiration behind creating this? First of all, what is the program and what was the inspiration behind it?
All right, well, the Ascent program is geared towards that up and coming generation. Not technically an actual age, but those that are coming up in the industry that are going to be the future leaders. For those that are in the industrial tapes and industry, a lot of the people that have been around for 20, 30, 40 years are retiring. And there's obviously a vacuum, a gap left of the individuals coming up and essentially the skills they need to operate as leaders in these organizations. And as we've had so many different discussions about PSTC and what it's all about, it really comes down to one thing, and that's what is the value that PST offers to its members. And we want to be able to offer as much value as possible. One thing that was identified was that we need to offer a benefit to the younger generation to give them the skills they need to step into a board position or leadership positions at their own company. And of course, it's all in a means to push our industry forward as well as a whole. So the Ascend program is about teaching and giving the skills to the individuals to ascend, essentially the corporate ladder, ascend the mountain, ascend their skill set to become the leaders.
We definitely can't see this, but we have the Ascend sub-brand logo, if you will, and we have a mountain in there because it is indeed ascending, right? I think that's an important point. And we talked about over the years, what happens when, do we have this gap in the industry? Do we have this gap of who's going to be the next company leaders, even with PSTC itself, who's coming up? So I think this program is just incredible. The idea behind it is incredible because we are sort of allowing for that upskill, even if it's just networking. Having all these people in a room and they're talking to each other about who they are and what they're facing and how can we upskill. Ryan, so we kind of mentioned this. We're diving into it, but how does this program differ from, here we are at Tape Week and we have our educational tracks, we have our Tape Academy, we have our Women in the Tape Industry, also a sort of special interest group, but how does Ascend differ from these programs? What is the intention with it? And talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it's just truly about being fluid and capturing the needs of this new generation. So we're just going to be playing it by ear based off of what we're hearing back as the common messaging from that next generation. What we're envisioning is just taking that feedback and creating, whether it be formal or informal meetings. It could be collaborative corners with professional speakers, or it could be just informal engagement where we're just networking with each other, bouncing ideas and business problems off of each other and how we navigate that. Some things that I'm really thinking about specific to our industry and our company, our member companies, is a lot of them operate very lean. So what we're seeing is that next generation is being put in a position to lead without a title, and also executives summarizing the day-to-day for leadership, right? I think those would be really good tools to start with, and then after that, we'll just see what we capture from the rest of the group and really feed into that.
Use so many ideas, and I think the important thing to underscore here is that it is a new program, and we have to make sure that it's meeting the needs of who's involved, right? So what we're doing this week and what we're doing later this year may look very different next year. So Ryan, let me just stick with you. So what do we have planned this year, and what do we have coming up next year? And then Bill, I'll ask you some questions.
Yeah, so this year we'll probably kick off the first meeting. It will be more that informal networking, building off of the group that we talked with this week. So we just want to meet and discuss about hey, the next generation, what are they facing in our business, and starting to capture that feedback, but also just be supportive of each other. And then we also have some speakers in line for an official collaborative corner. We'll be really leaning on our industry leaders, whether they are currently in the industry or have moved on from this, where we would be seeking kind of the best in class on those topics,
Yeah.
you know,
That's
through all the different member companies. So
That's great. Bill?
yeah.
No, this program, it's ever evolving. It reminds me of coming out with a new product launch. When you're going to come out with a new product, the first thing you're going to do is go and get VOC, voice of the customer. What is it that they want? What is it that they need? And unfortunately, you're going to find out often is that they don't know what they don't know. They don't know what they need to get to that next level.
That's a good point.
You know, and there's a lot of business leaders here. There's a lot of just very smart, engaged individuals that can help give that guidance. And as Ryan mentioned, a lot of these organizations, they run very lean. So, you know, each individual that I see here, they have very specific needs that they need, as opposed to just a generalized training that you see. Right. I know, like at my company, we might have a specific training about daily management. I think I have something like that coming up. But Ryan at Vybond, he may not need that.
Yeah.
He may need an entirely different set of training opportunities or just knowledge improvement areas. Right.
So obviously, very excited about the Ascend program. It's part of course, our larger activities and events that we do host here at Tape Week. So let's kind of zoom out a little bit and talk in general about this week, right? We're super excited to say that we have a lot of people here this year, right? We just checking some numbers. We had dozens and dozens of people actually register on site, so it's bigger than we anticipated. Let's start with you, Bill. From your perspective, why should people be at Ascend, obviously, right? Why should people be at Tape Week?
Well, it's interesting. 5 years ago, I would have looked at everybody here and said they're a bunch of competitors and I probably shouldn't go. But it's much different now. I've noticed that as an industry, we all seem to be working together in different ways. We're all trying to push our entire industry forward.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that I work with people I saw as competitors 5 years ago are now my strategic business partners. We're working together. And it's the best time, best place to really to network and get to know and get to really know the other organizations, get to know the people.
Ryan, thoughts? Why should people be at Tape Week?
Yeah, so I came to Tape Week, I think, for the first time 5 years ago, and just the networking aspect, the speed dating aspect, knowing the people in the industry, and my company had a great habit to bring different group every year, get that exposure.
Yeah.
But I was trying to seek my way of okay, how do I lock in my seat to go? That's when I started getting involved in the marketing and applications track and the Ascend program, because I wanted to come back every year just to experience this.
Well, all these sub-segments of people that are here, I think that's really great about Tape Week is you have your technical track, you have your markets and applications track, you have your Tape Academy, the new Ascend program, I'm in the tape industry. So we repeat this a little bit cliche. We say there's something for everyone, but it's true, right? You can invite more and more of your colleagues from your company to be here and experience this great week. Okay, last question for you both. Ryan, we'll stick with you. Overall, PSTC is more than just Tape Week, right? We know that from discussing the Ascend program, Collaborative Corner, Fall Leadership Forum later on. But just overall, why should people be engaged with PSTC year-round and not just a Tape Week?
Yeah, it all lies with what PSTC is all about. It's about growing the pie, right? So, finding applications where tape can grow. Like Bill mentioned earlier, some come in here perceiving that it may be like a bunch of competition in a room, but actually if we grow the pie, we all benefit, right? So understanding new applications, new markets, that's really what this is all about.
Yeah, the power of a trade association, right?
Yeah.
Bill, thoughts?
Yeah, I think you just said something very important, the power of a trade association, right? Together, we're all very strong, right? There's companies that are very big here and the companies that are very small, 50, less than 50 employees, and they all get to experience the same wealth of information and the same access to not just the industry, but the different tracks, the different knowledge. Just having access. It doesn't matter how big or small you are. Isn't that great?
Yeah, it's really important. You see all these decision makers, grades, people with decades of experience in the same room. You get to have those conversations with them. All right, Bill, Ryan, thank you so much for your time. Congrats on the launch of Ascend.